Welcome back to Auburn Ed Talks, the official podcast of Auburn University's College of Education, recorded in the Pratt Family Media Production Room at our new College of Education building. This podcast spotlights the people, ideas, and innovation shaping the future of education and beyond. In this episode, we're highlighting a program that truly reflects our college's mission of opening doors and improving lives, Auburn's Education to Accomplish Growth in Life Experiences for Success, or EAGLES program. This innovative initiative supports young adults with intellectual disabilities as they pursue independent living, career development, and a meaningful college experience. So let's get to talking.
Hey everyone, I'm Isabel and I have the honor of serving as the president of the College of Education Student Ambassador Program. And today I'm hosting the Auburn Ed Talks podcast with three members of our EAGLES program, Audrey Cordier, Dr. Betty Patten, and JJ Johnson. Thank you guys for being here today.
Awesome. Thank you, Isabel. We're excited to be here.
Yes, excited to be here. Thank you.
War Eagle.
Okay, before we dive into our talk about the EAGLES program, let's start with a lightning round to get to know you all a little bit better, if that sounds good.
Awesome.
Sounds great.
Okay, Dr. Patten, where are you from and what brought you to the Auburn EAGLES program?
So I am originally born in Selma, Alabama, grew up in Montgomery, Alabama, and moved to Auburn in 2006. And ultimately what brought me to the EAGLES program is where my educational training and experiences aligned with this amazing opportunity that had not yet been thought of while I was in my undergraduate program. And the position opened to apply for the director of the EAGLES program, and there was no hesitation, applied, got the job, the rest is history.
Awesome. So what's one word you would use to describe the EAGLES program?
Transformative.
You want to talk a little bit more about that?
Awesome, yes. So when I think about the EAGLES program, I think about the impact that our students and the program has on everyone. And ultimately, at the end of the day, the word transformation or transformative resonates with every partnership or relationship that we have. For example, our students are transformed from the moment they come from interviews all the way to when they walk across that stage. Our campus partners are transformed through the impact that our students have on them, their teaching methods, how they view individuals with different backgrounds and different ability levels. Our peer mentors often equate the involvement with the program as their pinnacle Auburn experience while they are here. And then ultimately, the gift that comes from the generosity of our donors ultimately pours back into us and has been transformative in advancing the mission and vision at an accelerated rate. And at the end of the day, when I look at the backbone of our program, the staff, each one of them has a gift that has transformed each domain and pillar of the program. So one word in a nutshell, transformative.
Well, that's amazing to hear. I want to move to you, JJ. Where are you from?
I'm from Trustville, Alabama, so it's north of Birmingham.
Okay. What has been the best part of your Auburn experience?
The best part about my art experience is getting involved. I would say, getting involved was probably one of the most important things, I would say, as a college student, just because if you don't get yourself involved, you're not going to have the connections that you want. So I would say, being involved is probably the best part of my art experience.
And that's great advice for students coming in. That's one of the biggest pieces of advice I feel like I've given prospective students is to get involved at Auburn. So I love that you said that. Mm-hmm. And then Audrey, why did you choose to become a Wings mentor?
Well, I wanted to initially find an opportunity to just get involved with my community, and I wanted to find parts of Auburn that I wouldn't really find in my Greek organization. So a professor I'm a speech language hearing science major, so a lot of the Wings Peer Mentor program and the EAGLES students, I can apply knowledge I've learned in my major. So a professor actually told me about this program, so that's how I got involved, yeah.
Awesome.
I love hearing about that word, involvement. Can you share a little bit, JJ, about the most meaningful involvement experience you had while being part of the EAGLES program?
Yeah, so I've been involved in a lot of organizations while my time in Auburn. So I was involved in SGA Freshman Forum. I've been involved in competitive sports, intramural sports. I've been involved in Anchor Auburn, which is one of the main ones I'll look to talk about right now. So Anchor Auburn is an inaugural program. It's basically it's like a leadership program. It's basically like, getting yourself involved in like the Auburn Opelika area. It's more of like a leadership program, like how to get connected into like a job, how you get connected into like Auburn in the Opelika area.
Awesome. A funny story I do have to say about JJ is the first time I met him was on Preview Day, which we host prospective families, prospective students to come see Auburn, see what the program's like, meet all the amazing staff. And JJ and I were together like welcoming families. And seriously, anybody who passed him was like, "What's up, JJ?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh."
That's
I feel like I don't even go here. I'm
very involved with us.
I'm just here.
So let's dive in a little bit more about the Eagles program and the impact that it's made here at Auburn and beyond. So Dr. Patten, to get us started, tell us about the Eagles program and its mission.
So the Eagles program at Auburn is a comprehensive transition program for students with intellectual disabilities. And what that means is that we provide an Auburn experience to students who traditionally would not have had the opportunity to attend Auburn. Our core goals within the Eagles program are to promote independence and improve quality of life for our students beyond Auburn. So we use systematic instruction and evidence-based practices, evidence-informed practices to create and curate an Auburn experience that really emphasizes developing skills in the areas of academic enrichment, independent living skills, personal social skills, health and wellness domain, and independent living. So ultimately, our program works together with a lot of interdisciplinary supports across this campus to really highlight the impact that everyone can have on the disability community and not just specialized professionals in certain disciplines. Some advice that was given to me surrounding that hospitality mindset is that no matter who ends up at the Eagles program long term, that hospitality is about preparing in advance and being intentional. And so everything we do in the Eagles program really emphasizes the importance of hospitality. And you went into the hospitality industry, so you get to see firsthand how you have to get everything ready for an event, and people show up and they don't know what goes on behind the scenes, but what they walk away with is that feeling that you gave. And so I love that you really embrace hospitality, because at the end of the day, hospitality at its core drives wanting people to have meaningful experiences. And that is one of the hidden secrets behind the success of the Eagles program.
And so you just recently graduated. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congrats.
Thank you.
What are you doing now, and how do you feel that the Eagles program prepared you for what you're doing now?
So right now, I am working at the Auburn Hotel.
Full time
now.
Awesome.
And what was the other part of the question? I'm sorry.
How do you feel like the Eagles program prepared you for what you're doing now?
They prepared me a lot they prepared me a lot when I first got here, actually. They prepared me to just they always told me to just be on your best behavior, I would say. Like if things don't go the way it's supposed to be, just know you just always go with the flow, So I'm more of a go with the flow type of person.
Are you?
I feel like I am. I feel like I am.
Yeah.
Like there's certain things that I just don't share my opinions a lot. So, but I just like to go with the flow sometimes.
So, JJ, can you give us some specific examples of who or what aspect of the program prepared you to embrace this full-time job? Because if I'm not mistaken, you're the one who wanted to pursue a full-time job at the AU Hotel, correct?
That is true.
Yes. So what drove you to do that? And then how or who helped you get to where you needed to be to achieve that goal?
I would say basically all the members from the staff, actually, because each staff member has a piece to a puzzle, I would say. So
Good analogy.
I love that.
So Dr. Creighton, she's the assistant director. She's the social coordinator, and mainly she helped me a lot with just be more engaging. And then with Miss Willis, just more about independent living. basically with my job at the AU Hotel, I set up and take down events, and I do serve food sometimes. It was like a play the event. So, and then, Miss Goodwin, I love her a lot. And she always her job is health and wellness. So like working at a hotel, you do walk a lot. Mm-hmm. I remember last time I checked, I had 20,000 steps one time.
Oh, wow.
The generalization of that skill of recognizing the importance of developing health and wellness skills, those healthy habits, how they're needed to be successful in a career. And, Isabel, that's one of the most important parts of the Eagles program is it is comprehensive. And I'm going to let you finish, JJ, but I think one thing that should be emphasized about the importance of the Eagles program and programs like these is that we don't believe that you can teach skills in isolation. Mm-hmm. With who we serve, there needs to be overlap, and our students in the community need to see that with these skills, it's going to make you a better employee, which then makes you more engaged. And then you get a paycheck and you're able to pay your bills and you're able to go out and have a good time with the friends and the peers that you have. And at Auburn College of Education, we are lifelong learners. And so it's important to know that while we keep growing in those areas, JJ is an example of he's never going to stop learning and growing, and he's going to look for an opportunity to continue to grow and advance. And so you hit on Dr. Creighton's role with the personal social, as well as Miss Goodwin's role with health and wellness, Miss Willis's role with independent living, and then you talked about Miss Osment with employment. Mm-hmm. What else? Other area?
And Miss Ellen also. So Miss Ellen, she's academic, so like she has taught me is just customer service, because I think at any job you need the customer service to. Of course. It's going to get you in the long run. And it's just, she has taught me that, during one of my, I almost said action plan. Oof. I almost said action plan. What is it called? When you
individualized learning agreement?
Yes.
Awesome.
So, she just told me, it was one thing that, she told me it was one thing that you're already good at, but you should work on is customer service, because it helps you, it'll help you in the long run, just be a good advocate for yourself when, if something goes wrong at your job, you can just you could always reach out to any of us. I was like, that's deep.
Yeah.
I love how practical it is. It's all awesome, yeah. Daily life, daily application. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. And so, Audrey, I'm going to jump to you.
Yes.
So what does your role look like as a Wings peer mentor? So Dr. Patten and both JJ kind of touched on the different domains. So I get the privilege of really being in the social domain. So that kind of has two parts. So the first part is modeling appropriate behavior. Mm-hmm. So that could look like, not over texting somebody or showing up when you said you were going to show up, different things like that. And then the second part of that kind of looks like advocacy. So when we're at a restaurant and one of the Eagle students is trying to order, I'm not ordering for them. The person that's taking their order is looking at them, taking the order from them. Or in the grocery store, we're checking expiration dates. I actually learned recently that milk that is at the front of it expires sooner than the milk that is in the back. So that's been a helpful tip.
It is.
And checking out by themselves. Can they do self-checkout? Can they check out with a person? And do they need my help? And
do we have enough money in our bank account?
Yes, exactly. Are we bringing our cards? Are we making a list? Those types of things, and making sure that, we're supporting them and we're making them feel confident and that they are able to do such a thing by themselves.
She's actually underselling her role a little bit. I think we need to maybe dive a little bit deeper into the organizational role.
Yes.
So the Wings Peer Mentor Program, which stands for Warm-Hearted Individuals Nurturing Great Success, is a student organization here at Auburn. And so while being a student organization, it's sponsored by an academic unit. And Miss Audrey is our president of that organization. So can you please share a little bit more about the framework of
so Wings is definitely a fully student-led organization. We work really closely with Dr. Creighton, but all meetings, all events planned are all by people on exec or even people in the organization that are hey, this would be a good idea to do. So it's a lot of accountability as well for our peer mentors. So are you doing your social events? So we require like 3 social events per month. We also have something called Qualtrics hours, which you can log how many hours you volunteer. And if you get 50, you get a disability advocacy certificate. So that's also something like really important in the Wings Peer Mentor program, I feel like. And so, yeah, I'm trying to think of something else I could touch on.
What are some ways that you work with students in the program?
Yeah, so as vice president, last year I served as vice president. This year I'm serving as president. But it's mainly leading a lot of meetings and a lot of coordination. So let's say that somebody's going to class with a student and the student doesn't answer. They'll text me or they'll text whoever, Miss Allen or whatever. And then I'm kind of that liaison between the staff members as well as the students, as well as the Eagle students as well. So, yeah.
I have a question.
Yes.
Do you have, you don't got to answer this, but I mean, if you don't want to. Okay. Do you have any family members with disabilities that kind of driven you into?
Yeah, that's a great question. I actually don't. So when people always ask me, they kind of assume that I have somebody personal to me, and that's why I really was driven to join this organization.
Because a lot of our wings do have a personal connection, right?
Exactly. But I never did. I just always wanted to be with people and serve my community, and it's been a great time. Like, the Eagle students are just so awesome, and it's been great to really watch them grow from, being E1s, which is like our first year students, to being E2s, and then E3s and E4s, which can live off campus. Like, just seeing that transition has really been transformative.
Love
and
it.
it's really just great. Like, I've grown as a person, and the Eagle students grow as people, like, all in college. So that's been just such a great and rewarding experience to be a part of. Yeah.
It's really inspiring to hear about how you've been giving back to the Auburn community. And so I want to ask you, Dr. Patten, why do you think the peer mentoring program is so important?
Wow. So
doesn't have to be so broad. Just
no. Honestly, the Wings program is what makes the Eagles program. And ultimately, it's about that community. And at the end of the day, JJ and his peers, are going to be more influenced by their own peers. And so I'm sure you've heard the term, like, show me your friends and I'll show you your future. I think that it is really incredible to know, while we are strategically bringing peer mentors into the program, we also are facilitating authentic relationships within this structure that people gravitate towards naturally in a way that they're able to model appropriate behaviors, just do life together. And by doing life together, our Eagle students are able to raise their own standard and, really see how their peers are engaging. Not to mention it's research backed. And there is a systematic way to work with peer mentors, to train them so that they can then be the ones who are, spreading inclusion and awareness on Auburn's campus. And so when our Eagle students are paired with our Wings, they actually are what facilitate this entire program working, because our staff and team, we can only be in so many places at one time. And so it is not lost on me the gift of being a part of and leading an organization like the Eagles program, where so many people gravitate towards it and want to help the next generation of Eagles students really get plugged in. And so I do not take that lightly. And it's one of those things that every day I wake up that I get to do this and get to be surrounded by such amazing peer mentors and really give us a lot of hope for the future. They truly are so incredible. I mean, a lot of our peer mentors that we get to engage with, and they just, the way they problem solve, the way they show up, their critical thinking skills, and coupled with their heart is incredible.
It's amazing to see how big of a community the Eagles program creates, because it's not just the program, but it's also the staff, and then it's the Wings mentors. And so, JJ, I'm going to jump back to you for a second. Thinking back on your time in the program, what are you the most proud of accomplishing?
What I'm most proud of is graduating.
Yeah.
Not saying because I was glad to graduate, but it was just a big milestone, I would say, because not a lot of people with disabilities get a chance to graduate in college. So just know that, at the end of the day, you're I feel you're the 1%. So, so you just gotta be grateful of what you accomplished so far. Just be like, I think the saying is like, be glad that it happened. So
I love it. Don't be sad that it's over. Be glad that it happened.
Yes.
Yeah, what a positive perspective. And JJ hit on the 1%. So who we serve in the Eagles program are individuals with intellectual disabilities. And that is about a little less than 1% of the entire population. And so within that 1%, there's a continuum of ability levels, adaptive behavior skills. And so when you think about programs like Eagles, we serve 1% of the 1% who would be eligible for these programs. And so to hear how grateful he is for this opportunity is just inspiring to keep going, because we can't be all things to everyone. Mm-hmm. And so that is ultimately the best gift, is to see the impact it has on JJ and others.
Each individual story is so special to hear. And so, Audrey, I'm going to jump back to you.
Yes.
What do you feel like you've gained from being a peer mentor?
Oh my goodness, just about everything ever, I feel like. So just from being a peer mentor, and then also like being able to serve on the executive council, executive board. I mean, responsibility, communication, time management, all those things, I feel like has really grown. I think out of those three things, communication has definitely been my biggest growth. I'm a talker, so communication has never been an issue, but just making sure that, you know, that your communication is clear, that you're showing up when you said you're going to show up. Like that part goes both ways, you know, responding to people. I like to think that I respond to people in my head, but I don't actually respond. So making sure I'm responding.
Closing loops.
Yes, exactly. And following through, I feel like that's such a big thing that it's almost like a lost art almost. It's like being able to follow through, being able to be that person that can be relied on has been like something that, a role that I've stepped into that has really fulfilled me, I guess you could say, and that I've grown into. So that's been a really positive experience.
And so you definitely recommend students coming to Auburn to get involved in the WINS program.
Yes, coming from somebody who like didn't have anybody in my family that I knew, honestly, it was kind of intimidating at first, because it's like, I don't know how they're going to act per se, but it wasn't like that at all. It was to be able to provide support for these students, like within social domains or academic health and wellness domains, and being able to learn about their story. You know, everybody has a story. So being able to be a part of that story is just something that's like super big and super important. And I feel like there's so many ways that you can get involved. And so the Eagles program is definitely a way.
Absolutely. Well, that's awesome. Dr. Patten, I want to ask you, for students and families who don't know about the Eagles program, what do you think makes it so unique?
People like Audrey, people like JJ. Truly, it is important to really recognize that it's the natural talents of our Eagle students and our wings, with development and support and growth and pouring into them to help them, you know, to encourage them and hold them to a high standard, but in a way that they progress, is what makes this program so unique. And what Audrey hit on just a minute ago is the importance of walking out our values and not just talking the talk, but walking the walk. And I agree, you know, in a world where we can say anything, you know, we also need to look at the behaviors that come with what we're saying. And what is so unique about the Eagles program is that the team that are supporting our students, not only do they walk the walk, but they talk the talk. They are doers. They are truly here to help our Eagle students embrace their identity, empower them to access all that Auburn has to offer. And that is only done through the amazing partnerships we have on campus. And so what makes Auburn so unique is all the way from President Roberts down, the Eagles program is loved, supported, and we don't just say that with our words. We've been given resources to do so. We've been given this beautiful Scott Allen Lawrence suite that's almost 5,000 square feet. So when we talk about our actions aligning with our stated values, the Eagles program really personifies the Auburn Creed and that human touch. And that's what makes us unique at its core.
It's been so amazing to hear you talk about how incredible the Eagles program is. And so before we wrap up this Auburn Ed Talks, I want to ask each of you, and you can go in whatever order, whoever's ready first. What's one takeaway, if any, you hope that listeners take from this episode of Auburn Ed Talks?
I guess I can go first. I would say just how important it is to advocate for others. I think, just because somebody's telling you something doesn't mean that that's the answer. So, advocacy really brings that out. Like, what can we do? How can we make this better? And so I think that it's super important to advocate, and in that comes these independent lives. And they're not only independent, but they're fun, And so, yeah, I would say that's my biggest takeaway.
What I hope listeners take away is that regardless of where your future takes you, to be an active participant, listening to JJ's experience. You're the president of our College of Ed Student Ambassador. She's the president of our Wings Peer Mentor organization, and that getting involved and, putting yourself out there ultimately is what leads to these incredible outcomes. And, it's not always going to be easy. And I believe that you choose your heart in life, and so let's do hard things that are going to amount to great things and great outcomes long term.
Absolutely. What about you, JJ?
I should have went first. My biggest takeaway from Auburn Ed Talk is, don't stop trying, because at the end of the day, no matter how many times you fail or something, you can always get back up. And I've always learned, if you want to succeed, you do have to fail first. So that's like my biggest takeaway is, before you want to succeed, you have to fail.
John Maxwell
That
quote.
is great advice.
Love it.
I love
Yeah.
that.
Leadership, success
full of
cannot
quotes
exist
today.
without
Absolutely.
failure. We only know success because we fail. And so I think that that's ultimately just to reinforce for anybody, no matter where you are in life, failure is natural, and to embrace it. And our Eagle students have been told for many years what they couldn't do, and we get to be on the other side of what they can do.
Well, thank you guys so much for being here today. Thank you for sharing your stories and the amazing work that you're doing through the Eagles program. And thank you to everyone listening to the Auburn Ed Talks podcast today. Please subscribe for more, and War Eagle.
War Eagle.